Hello, everybody, and welcome back to some more World of Tanks. Today, I'm doing a bit of a a review of the game in general. I'm a bit under the weather right now. I think I might have had COVID. Not 100% sure, but I do have a bad cough right now, so I will try to get the mic away when I do have to cough. But it is what it is. Basically, today I'm bringing you what I'm talking about today is part of the reason why the game just isn't working right now. Basically, there was a bit of a video. It all went kicked off a little bit in social media on YouTube and stuff. Another fellow YouTuber called Space Bandit made a video about why he's quitting the game. Now, I totally understand why. He made a video showing the reasons why. And there's some very, very valid reasons. Reasons why, and a couple of other YouTubers made comments on it. One of them basically trying to deny all the clips he was showing. Basically just making excuses for wargaming. One of his main excuses was basically, yeah, the game isn't that well made, but it's your fault for not really working with that in mind. I'm not really sure that's a good reason, but okay. And the other one is a little bit critical as well, but mainly just agreed with what he was saying. Neither of the YouTubers I'm massive fans of. I watch Eclipse. I think his videos are pretty good, but I say his videos are good. It's just the occasional stance he has on things that I just go, oh, really? Like, he will basically go, oh, it's never blame your team, never blame RNG, never blame the game. Oh, it's always down to you. And it's like, well, yeah, okay. You're probably the only thing you can really make a difference on the per game kind of thing problem. But it's Astron Rex, by the way, is pretty determined to kill me for some reason. Which, I mean, at the end of every game, no matter how mad I am at the RNG or the enemy team, I'm always like, yeah, okay, I could have done a little bit better in this situation, that situation, but at the end of the day, it's still a large part to do with the teams. Because my next video will be showing a lot of defeats. I had a really bad play session the other day, and it basically mainly losing games, and I'm pretty much top of the team in most of those games. So yeah, I could do slightly better in all those games, but even if I did play slightly better in all of those games, we would still have lost. And that does annoy me when he says that a lot. It just seems like he's defending wargaming a lot, to be honest. I'm not 100% sure why. But there you go. And basically, well, he was talking about ghost shells, dummy shells, unimpenetrable tanks, things like that. Space Bandit was, and I want to talk about something else at the moment, which is the big guns in the game. Now, this has never been a simulator game. It's not War Thunder. War Thunder is more realistic. You can use a T-34, get up behind, what would be like in this game, like 2 or 3 tiers higher. If you're getting close, you can still take out that tank with that, with the T-34, that kind of thing. But this has always been a bit of a more of a similar, bit of on the arcade game, right? So you can take a few hits, you can learn your lesson, you can punish the enemy, even though you've taken a few hits, that kind of thing. And you're supposed to be able to, you know, make a few mistakes, and that should be fine, you know. But recently, they've just been pumping the game full of these massive guns that pretty much take out your tank in 1 hit, 2 hits, 3 hits, you know, that kind of thing. And it's just like, well, what has this game become? Because you're basically punishing anybody who's not using a big gun in the game. I mean, like I said, Cold War is a perfect example of, and why, a big reason why I don't play Cold War very much. I'm only playing it because I'm going up one of the lines at the moment. I feel like I've made a mistake even going up any of the lines, because quite frankly, I like collecting tanks, so it's nice to have them in my collection. But once I've collected the lines, will I be playing Cold War? Probably not. So it does feel like I'm wasting my time. So I might actually just, I've finished this line, I might actually just give up. Like I said, one of the reasons is missiles. Missiles have entered the game, and it basically just rewards noobish behavior, non-strategic behavior. It's just roll towards the enemy as fast as possible, unload a missile, get rewarded, pull back, push towards another tank, do the same. You know, not in the World War II, back in the day, it used to be like try to peek-a-boom, try to gauge what their reload is, see if you can get another shot off, see if you can get behind cover before they fire, angle your armor, do stuff like that. And that's kind of gone out the window. It's even in World War II. Now, obviously, in Cold War, main battle tanks, honestly, I don't see a place for them at the moment. Especially in Era 3 when you've got Weasel Toes and just an abundance of missile tanks. Because, you know, I'm playing the Leopard line at the moment. I'm playing Era 3, unfortunately. And Leopards in Era 3 get a little bit of armor. You know, against main guns, you can bounce from time to time. But missiles, just, you know, like I was, you know, numerous times. I got a clip at the end of this to give you a perfect example of what I mean. It's like I was playing properly. I was sitting in a certain area of the map, which is pretty good to take pot shots, get behind cover, you know, and I can adjust to the team. You know, if they're falling on one flank, I can push that flank and then pull back, that kind of thing. And this, you know, a light tank with a missile, yeah, just rolls across the map straight away, just takes a couple of hits, fires a missile, hits your ammo rack. Being ammo racked by missiles is such a common thing. It's so annoying because, like I said, they get rewarded. So this guy just jumps into the light tank, zooms across the map, takes a couple of hits, hits someone, hits the ammo rack, gets like 3,000 damage, then gets killed. And he's like, well, job done. I've got over 3,000 damage. That ain't bad. I've got a kill. Let's just do that again. So there's like no strategy. Light tanks can just take a couple of hits, fire a missile, do over 1,000 damage, pull back, do it again until they die. And then they've got, you know, 5,000 damage, and they've basically done nothing a light tank should be doing. They just rolled towards the enemy, not spotted, not helped their team, just direct damage. You know, it just seems pointless. And you know, the amount of times I've been, you know, ammo racked or set on fire by a missile, like, and there's just nothing you can really do about it. Especially if they're just targeting you. I can literally be in a group of 4 allied tanks, and the light tank just comes along, puts a shot into you, takes over 1,000 health. My teammates either don't bother shooting him, miss him, and he gets away, and then he comes back in like 2 minutes time, does exactly the same thing, takes maybe 1 or 2 hits, disappears for a couple more minutes, come back, does it again, and there's no, like, it's just like placement of the teams is just lemming trains all the time, and it's just like, where's the strategy, where's the fun in this? You know, might as well just play Mario Kart, you know. It's just you know, if you want to play a game with military vehicles, you want to be a little bit of strategy, you want to be trying to work together as a team, and it's just not really there in Cold War. It's happening in Era 2 a lot now as well, because they're introducing more missile tanks, and it's just like, right, so Era 3 is no fun to play, Era 2 is pretty rubbish too, Era 1 is the only one that's somewhat fair and balanced, but you still get lemming drains, and obviously not as quite as exciting tanks. Most of the tanks in Era 1 are tier 9s and 10s in World War 2, so why would you play it? You know, and then they're doing the same in World War 2. You know, originally, yeah, we had the ship barn, we had the Death Star, those were trouble, but you know, once they came out, you saw one of those every 3-5 games, something like that, you know, not a big issue. The chance of you actually getting hit by one of those in a game as well was unlikely. But now we got the AVRE, we got the Sturm Tiger, we got a lot of big guns, even in lower tiers. We got the Dreadnought. I was playing. Now this tank is a bit of a big gun in tier 5 again, another one of those tanks, but it's actually really well balanced. It's very slow, it's got pretty decent armor, but like I said, it's dead slow. The gun is super derpy, shells are super slow. It's called the Long Bomb, a mercenary tank. I don't play it very often because it's not very good. But it's, like I said, it's a big gun, but it's somewhat balanced. Yeah, okay, it's still somewhat annoying, right? Because you could be you know, only takes one tank to be hit, and then, like, well, most of my health gone. That seems a bit unfair. But you've also got artillery in the game, and anyway, which will come across unfair to pretty much anyone that gets hit by it, because you can't see it, you can't fight back against it. But then you've also got these massive guns in the game, which don't require them to learn where weak spots are. The AVRE is a medium tank, so it's got good view range. It can get up in your face. It's got good armor. The only thing that really lets down is gun depression. And quite frankly, like the Weasel Toe and certain tanks like that in Cold War and stuff, you see your allies just don't bother trying to fight them. They're like, there's an AVRE in front of you. Well, I'm going to find it very difficult to pen, so let's shoot that lightly armoured TD at the back, even though the AVRE is pretty much right in front of them, because I'd rather get some damage off, you know, before the game ends. And the Weasel Toe, I'm probably going to fail to hit that, and it can bounce shots as well, so just ignore it, let it hit me, go on to the next game, whatever, that kind of thing. Now, it just seems like there's so many of these guns in the game now. You're bound to see them at pretty much every game, if not 2 of them in every game. And it just makes the game not as fun, not as strategic. I don't know. it's just one of those things. It's just like they honestly, like I said, I don't. The wargaming really do not care. They just want their money, and obviously that is perfect for them. Making the game frustrating. That's their kind of model. I think these days is they think the more frustrating the game is, the more likely you're gonna just spend money to get past that that tank, or buy a new tank. See, I bounced the shot there. I'm not sure how I bounced the tank, and it didn't bounce. It didn't register as bouncing. It hit the back of my maybe whatever. That's so. I feel kind of bad for that guy, leopard. I think it probably was the leopard, who I've hit several times. That he's going to get very annoyed by the fact that he didn't pen that shot. Yeah, so this game just built to frustrate you, to get you to spend money, I think. And there you go. Shot went way lower than what I was firing. Yeah. And of course, the Tyran is another example of an OP big gun in the game. And there's another one, the Panzerjäger at tier 8. Yeah, not a massive gun, but quite OP tanks, both of those. Very good. Panzerjäger's amazing DPM, incredible camo. Ridiculous for tier 8. The Tyran is better than pretty much every tier 10 TD in the game. So why would you play any other TD? I mean, this guy, just the wrong tank. I mean, it's a pretty weak tank anyway. And yeah, I mean, wargaming need to put Sixth Sense as a initial skill, because the amount of people I've seen with no Sixth Sense is insane. This guy's in a tier 10 and he still hasn't got Sixth Sense. Now, he might have forgotten to put a crew back in, but like I said, I see it so often. In Cold War, in slightly less in World War II, but I can think that's partly shows you, obviously Cold War has attracted some new players, and they've gone straight into that, and they're like, why do I need Sixth Sense? They need to teach people that Sixth Sense is immensely important. I don't know, on the information screen, on the loading screen into a game, why not just put Sixth Sense is an extremely important crew skill. Most good players have that as their very first crew skill. It lets you know when you're spotted on the map. It gives you vital seconds to know to get behind cover before someone starts aiming at you. That kind of thing. It's simple, but short, very, very helpful. And like I said, it's the problem is I don't think they're going to do anything about any of the problems in this game until maybe people stop spending money on the game. But I can understand why it's so difficult for people to stop spending money on the game. I find it difficult. I put some money in for my birthday. That's the thing. It's like they go like, they presume the more frustrated people get, the more money they're going to spend on the game to get out of that situation, that kind of thing. And they're probably right, but for me, I spend a lot less money over the last year or two because of the issue of frustration. It's just like, well, why am I spending money on this game that's never getting improved? All we're getting is more OP, more broken premium tanks and stuff big guns in the tank, which make it more pointless to play your mediums or your lights or whatever. Anyway, back to the last parts of this video. I'm in my pattern. Excellent tank. After coming from like Cold War, it does. I haven't played this tank for a long time. It feels a little bit sluggish, on the acceleration and stuff like that. But it's still an excellent tank. As you can see, we've not done much, but there was little to do over this side of the map. As you can see, we've got a lot of camping TDs, so it might be worth trying to do some spotting. I think my highest ever combined damage in World War II has been in this particular tank. So I've always got a bit of a soft spot for it. I got this tank a long time ago, as well. I say a long time ago. Yeah, quite long. It wasn't one of my first tier 10s, but it definitely wasn't one of my lasts. Because once I finish my Cold War Leopard line, I am going full World War II. I'm going for the Japanese TD and the Russian double barrel tanks, because I still haven't used the double barrel tanks. So that's just basically a new mechanic I want to get used to, which is one of the there we go, bouncing. It's one of the new things they brought into the game. It's actually decent, which is, makes a change. Apparently, one theory a YouTuber speaked up is you have if your team is losing, the worse your RNG on the losing team is going to be, just to make the games move faster. The more games people play, the more likely people are to spend money. And that sounds like a very sound theory, because games a couple of years ago, a lot of games would last 10 or even 15 minutes, the full 10 to 15 minutes. Those were fun, enjoyable games because it was close games. But apparently, that's a thing, right? So, if your team is already 3 tanks down, you're going to lose very, very quickly, because it just wants you to get into the next game. Which is just a terrible way to make a game. I mean, like that kind of thought process just means they're not interested in making games. They are just literally interested in making money. Wow, okay, that's the majority of my health gone in one hit. And what was that? Was it a Ruthless? Ah, yes. Another one of those big guns. I can take majority of your health off in one hit. So I was doing everything right. I made a small mistake and not realised that guy was coming up behind me. And I get punished for it and put down to basically a one-shot for the Tyran, the Ruthless, because there's so many big guns in the game. Now, like I said, that theory is an interesting one. I don't know how you would test for it, other than like a group of you just going, right, we're going to test this theory, and then just get pen and paper and calculate your kind of RNG and stuff in losing games and winning games. I can see basically a whole of my team are that was nice. Majority of my teams are TDs at the moment, and they're just not really coming to help. And that is the problem with having a lot of TDs as a team. A lot of them will just sit back and wait for the enemy to come to them, which is fine at the beginning of the game, right? You know? A little bit of lag there. Yeah, because it's one of the main parts of Space Bandit's video is the dummy shells, which is basically, he showed a clip of him firing a shell straight towards the straight towards a light tank, and the shell coming out sideways from the tip of his barrel. Now, some would say, all right, it's a bit of latency issues, which is well known because they don't bother to upgrade the servers, even though that's quite an essential part of the game. Pretty much every other game can do it, but Wargaming just can't be bothered to upgrade theirs, so that, you know, a lot of times when you fire from the Wargaming server side, it thinks your gun's still pointing slightly to the left or slightly to right from where you originally put your where your barrel was. Now that seems like they're honestly doing it on purpose to frustrate you and stuff like that. Right, this is the clip before I end the video. This is the clip I was telling you about of Cold War being a pretty bad game mode with missiles being a terrible addition. Alright, so, you know, not having a bad game so far. Just the beginning of the game and I'm hitting some shells. This guy's been very, very lucky. I'm not sure why he's just sitting out there. Right, so we're behind some foliage. We're working the ridge line. We're doing what we should be doing for this tank. Now, we're probably not going to pen that. I think in a minute I realise that our team's getting pushed in the middle of the city. And it's just, the teams are all over the place, right? There doesn't seem to be any real thought. We have taken the 9-0 line. They're just indiscriminately pushing the centre of the town. It's just utter chaos. There's no rhyme or reason between any of this, really. Bounce that because it's an object. 477. Broken tank. Yet another broken tank. And here comes the light tank. And there he is. Tried to track him in place. Tracked him in place. Repairs it straight away. So literally just missed out on a bit of damage there. He does a tiny bit of damage. I get another shot in. Right. You know, so far so good, right? Finished off the object. Good. Now the light tank's coming in again. And there you go. He takes another hit. Doesn't bother him. It's just one-shot me. Excellent. Excellente. Yeah, so, you know, very frustrated. Reported it because maybe if we report it missile tanks a lot, maybe they might go, oh, there's a problem with missile tanks. They won't, of course. They just introduce more. But there you go. That's wargaming for you. Anyway, if you did like the video, please give it a like and subscribe, because I'll be bringing you more replays in the future. I do have a major issue with time at the moment. I've got a daughter to look after, so I don't have much time to actually make videos at the moment. But I'll bring you some. I've got some in the bank, and I'll bring you as many as I can in the near future. What I will do probably is I will probably, whenever I play, I'll probably stream instead rather than making video, trying to get clips and make videos, because it's just easier. I don't particularly like doing that because I do get quite cross, but that can be kind of entertaining in its own way, I suppose. And then this guy gets kind of rewarded. He hasn't really done much for the team by the looks of things. He's got zero. It's got all his hit points. This object, again, just has to sit there because he's no P-tank. He doesn't have to worry too much about getting ammo racked or anything like that, because people find it very difficult to pen him at all. Yeah, so that's the end of the video, guys. If you agree, disagree, leave a comment. Try to keep it civil, guys. I'm not interested in any abuse or arguments per se. The discussion, friendly discussion is fine. Anyway, bye, guys.